My fence has fallen down. Now what am I going to do? Like any normal homeowner, we muster all our considerable skills to put it back up. Looking good. And that was an epic fail. I at least had to remove the fallen sections so my neighbors didn't have to look at an eyesore. I decided to do something with the wood if I could salvage it. I wasn't sure if I would be able to because it's over 20 years old. After cutting out the slats and sections, I was left with this type of stuff. I brought the scraps into my basement where my wood shop is. Had to remove all the scrap slats or picket parts left with this mallet. Then we're left with a bunch of nails to remove, and that is not super fun as there were a ton of them and they were really old. Heads would snap off and make them difficult to remove. Getting them out was pretty important because I did not want to mess up my joiner or planer or any of my tools by nicking on the nails that were stuck in the boards. Got the nails removed, or in some cases cut the length of the wood because I couldn't get it removed. At this point I'm looking at the wood and it doesn't look very salvageable. So grabbed my hand planer and knocked off the rot and growth that was on there. After this point I needed to let the wood dry in the basement for a couple days. It was just too moist and had some rot on it, so it was not gonna go through my joiner or planer well at all. So then I run it through the joiner. This takes dozens of passes, as these old boards were pretty warped. This would give me 2 flat sides that are close enough to square. And again, I'm showing you one board, but I must have done 10 or 12 of these overall. Now I run it through the planer to square up the third side. Again, many passes. Not pictured, but to square the fourth side up, after you're done planing it, you just cut it off of the table. You cut a small section off the table side and the fourth side, if that makes any sense. Could not believe how well this 20-year-old cedar cleaned up. It was crazy. Look at those pictures. So at this point I used a grinder to cut all the hardware off of the cooler I was going to use for this project. Handles, hinges, and such. Then removed the drain plug. Now starting to build the box around the cooler. On the sides I used the fence pickets. On the front and back I planed the pickets down to remove the old gray weathering, and on the sides I left the gray on there for contrast. That's why you can see some looks like new wood and some looks like old cedar. Started to add some trim on the front and made a top for the cooler. I actually amazed myself that I got the top of the cooler enclosed with wood and on hinges, and it actually sealed properly when closed. I had no plans or design for this. I saw a picture of something similar on Pinterest, or I don't remember wherever, and decided to build it out of my old fence. My wife found this old antique spigot for $14 at the antique store. It's completely functional and was a pretty cool find for this project. I got this old bottle opener. I made a box for the caps. The box has a keyhole slot in the back so it can easily be removed, so you can throw away the caps. Not pictured well, but also got the bottom shelf on there. So this is it, a cedar ice chest built completely out of 4 fence links that had fallen down. I apologize for the poor pics. I didn't think I'd be sharing this project, but I was pretty impressed, so I figured why not.